So if you've noticed, if you watch this show a lot, I do state of a lot of different organizations and a lot of different teams. I do this. I've done the state of the NFL. I can also do the state of players. But I'm talking about the LA Rams today, and I think the Rams are talked about a lot. I think if you turn on any show, whether it's local, whether it's national, whether it's regional, what have you, radio, it doesn't matter. The LA Rams, Sean McVay, Matthew Stafford, Myles Garrett, now, they're going to be talked about. And you know what? I think it's justified. I think the Rams have the justified benefit of the doubt. I think a lot of teams and a lot of players don't have benefit of doubt that's justified, but people give it to them anyway. But I think the Rams do. Because if I look at the Rams under Sean McVay, they're 102-63. In his 9 years as a head coach, they've been to 2 Super Bowls, won one. 7 of 9 seasons they've been in the playoffs. So this is a team that's been efficient. This is a team that I've said before, if you beat the Rams, it won't be because the Rams aren't prepared. It won't be because the Rams aren't a good team. It'll be because you may have been better. A lot of people look at Carolina last season, the 2 times that the Rams played Carolina at the end of the regular season and in the playoffs, and people looked at the Rams in a bad light, and I just thought people should look at Carolina in more of a positive light because of what they were doing. Now, moving into the season, I think the personality and the decision-making of the Rams have brought them where they are right now, too. And everybody keeps talking about this bleep the picks mentality with Les Snead and Sean McVay and the Rams. I want people to know they have that mentality only when they need to have it. Now, is it true that they've traded their first-round pick in 9 of the last 10 seasons? That's absolutely true. But I think people are missing the reason why they do that sometimes. Not just to acquire top-tier talent like a Trent McDuffie or a Myles Garrett. They also went ahead and got Jalen Watson from the Chiefs in this offseason. But if you look at the Rams, Puka Nacua is one of the best receivers in football. He was drafted in the 5th round. Kyron Williams, who's become a very good running back in the league and their bell cow and their workhorse, was also a 5th-round pick. Alaric Jackson, who's their starting tackle, was an undrafted free agent. And if you go to the defensive side of the football, Kobe Turner was a 3rd-round pick, so was Byron Young, and Quentin Lake, their starting safety, was a 6th-round pick. So the Rams care about picks, but they also know that first-round picks don't mean everything because they'll say, I'll take a first-round pick, package this, and send it to an already established player, a la Trent McDuffie or a la Myles Garrett, so we can get production now. That's the way the team is run. And I think a lot of people have issues with this because they can't do it. And I think a bigger issue is teams try to be like the Rams, but they don't have the blueprint. And the blueprint isn't doing what the Rams do. The blueprint is being who you are. That's who Les Snead is. That's who Sean McVay is. So in that scenario, the Rams can do what they do because they also know how to develop. If the Rams couldn't develop talent, those 3rd, 5th round, and 6th round picks wouldn't be helping the team be who they are right now. So trading those 1st round picks would be incredibly stupid for them. I think for teams like the Jets at this point in time, I think for teams like the Raiders at this point in time, or in Saints at this point in time, you haven't earned the cachet nor the credibility nor developed the system with the new head coaches because they're all pretty brand new to do what the Rams do. So if you're not in that situation, don't try to mimic the Rams. Try to come up with your own creative identity. I think that's what LA does the best. Now, let's talk about everybody presuming that the Rams are the favorite. And by everybody, I don't mean literally everybody. I just think if you poll a lot of people nationally, regionally, or locally, they're going to have Rams as the presumptive Super Bowl favorite, which I don't have a problem if you think the Rams are the favorite. But in my estimation, if you ask me to take the Rams of the field, I'm going to take the field. 1, because the field is very strong, even in the NFC where people think that it's not. But 2, the Rams do have question marks coming into 2026. First and foremost, Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua haven't been together long, but I think they're one of the most dynamic receiving duos in the NFL. But I also told you that dynamic receiving duos don't always equal championships. We've seen it. Like, we've seen some of the best receivers in football. How often do the best receivers in football win championships? And how often are they one of the 2 best players on the team that lead you to a Super Bowl or even a conference championship? Not a lot of the times, even though this is a quote-unquote passing league. But Puka Nacua may not be on the field for the Rams to start the season. There are some lingering off-the-field circumstances that may result in a suspension. I don't know that for certain. Nobody knows that for certain, but it is something that has transpired in the past months that we have to wait and see what happens. I also want to ask you this question. The Rams went out and got Myles Garrett, Trent McDuffie, Jalen Watson, which is phenomenal. I don't think there's ever a problem with building your team for the future and building your team for the present, and I think that's what they're good at doing. But what I will say is do not assume talent is going to automatically equal production. Don't assume that leadership is automatically going to come because you have great players. We don't know the dynamic in teams where they left, and we don't know what the dynamic will be now. But more importantly, Matthew Stafford is the reigning MVP. He's phenomenal. All I'm asking you is, are we guaranteeing that Matthew Stafford could have another MVP season? Because remember, the Rams had an MVP quarterback in Matthew Stafford last year and didn't make the Super Bowl. They lost to the eventual Super Bowl champions in the conference championship game in the Seattle Seahawks. That's a team that's still loaded. I talked about them a couple of weeks ago. I said, don't forget about Seattle. So the Rams are great. I think the Rams are phenomenal. I don't worry about the Rams' schedule like a lot of people may, because I don't think the Rams have to win the NFC West to get to the Super Bowl or get to the conference championship game. They got to the conference championship game last year and didn't win the division. So that's not something that concerns me about very good teams. Very good teams can win on the road or at home in any circumstance. I don't care if they slide into the playoffs, if they have a down regular season because of injuries or because of suspensions or because of just not great play. If they get to the playoffs, they're going to be the force to be reckoned with. But let's not assume that A, the defense being bolstered is going to automatically assume the results that everybody desires that's associated with the Rams organization. And two, Stafford's back has been an issue. Now, I think they've done a great job in managing his back when it comes to the preseason and understanding how to keep him healthy. But like I said, age always catches up with you. The Rams will be formidable. And I think the state of the organization is they're one of the best and most organized, well-run organizations, not just in the NFL, but in team sports. I love to watch them play because they're always prepared. And I'm very interested to see how things play out for the Rams as they push towards what a lot of people are saying is a quote-unquote Super Bowl or bust season.